presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
In D.C., it's coming easy for Big Jeezy. Game 1, Mad Max. Fastball, long ball, number 37. Last night, Game 2, more velocity, a big league monstrosity. He's at 38 and counting. The Giancarlo Stanton Show continues tonight. Marlins and Nationals. Giancarlo Stanton needs a little more launch angle to get it out there to the Capitol building just beyond Nationals Park. Marlins and Nationals, this will be game 3 of a 4-gamer. Nationals got game 1. Marlins answered last night, and in both games, Giancarlo Stanton is homered. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Welcome to the show, the Giancarlo Stanton Show, and it's been a lot of fun to watch since moving into the 2 spot, since after the All-Star break. It just keeps going.
Oh, how about this road trip? Yeah, just impact at bats. He's coming through. He's not missing his pitch. And that's the one thing that really stands out over this road trip is when he has gone into the at-bat, gone into the game, whether it's a knuckleballer, whether it's somebody who's throwing with 94, 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, the game plan is being executed, and you're seeing it unfold. That's the difference from the beginning of the year to where he's at right now. You make a mistake against Stanton, you will pay.
Giancarlo Stanton coming on the field right now, and you can see he's chasing Sheffield's. Gary Sheffield has 42 home runs, 1996. That's the record. And look at Stanton's name on that list. He's at 38 and counting. Now, the issue for Stanton, the issue for the Marlin hitters, is Gio Gonzalez is on the mound. And the last time the Hialeah kid was on a mound, it was at Marlins Park, and he was almost unhittable.
Well, it really does speak to how good Gio has been this year. Giancarlo Stanton, 27 career at-bats, no home runs. That's the most at-bats against any pitcher without homering. So it'll be a great matchup tonight. Gio pitches well on extended rest. He's just had a baby, he and his wife, so we'll see where he's at tonight on 8 days of rest.
And, of course, that was an emotional night for Gio. The lefty, the Hialeah kid, takes on Giancarlo Stanton and the Fish. This would be game 3. This would be DC. Lineup's first pitch next. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By GMC, we are professional grade. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Another beautiful night here in Washington, D.C. No chance of rain. Warm day today, warm evening tonight. Southwest brings you Miami's lineup. D. Gordon in the leadoff spot. You've got Giancarlo Stanton, Marcell Ozuna, Real Muto, Dietrich Moore. Ichiro is in there tonight, giving Christian Yelich a night off. Miguel Rojas is at short. He's hitting 8th. And D. Gordon takes a strike. The count is 0-1. Gordon, Stanton, Ozuna, Gio Gonzalez whips another fastball in. That's a strike. Ryan Addington is the home plate umpire. 87 degrees here at game time. Breaking ball misses away.
All right, let's give you the AutoNation scouting report for tonight's ballgame. Gio Gonzalez, 6 foot, 205 pounds, 31 years old. That's right, he's a proud papa. Now he's pitching on 8 days rest. He and his wife had their second child, so congratulations to the Gonzalezes on that. All right, 3 starts on 6+ days of rest this season. He's got a .84 ERA. So if you thought, well, he might be a little slow tonight, think again. All right, last time around, July 31st, came within 3 outs of the no-hitter. D. Gordon lined a curveball into center field to break it up. So where does that take you tonight? Trouble with that curve. 139 batting average against the pitch. You already saw it against D. Gordon. Best piece of advice, stay on the fastball. He's got a big 12-6 curveball. He's using it at an incredible rate, 25% of the time, highest since his last year with the Oakland A's. So he really trusts that curveball an awful lot, and it's his best pitch.
And he strikes out D. Gordon to open his night here in D.C. Nationals defense tonight behind Gonzalez.
Let's look at that Nationals defense. Here you go, Marlins fans. Hendrick back in left field. He had a bad back last night. Goodwin, Harper is the outfield. Rendon, Wilmer Defoe's at shortstop. Sanchez, Zimmerman, Wieters back behind the plate. Gio Gonzalez on the mound.
Giancarlo Stanton, and as Todd documented, Stanton with some pretty good number of at-bats has not homered against Gio in his career. Fastball up, and it's 2-0 to Stanton. 6 for 27. Nationals have 3 infielders way over on that left side. Big lane open right side. Stanton pops this one up, and it's Defoe who sees it and has it. And Gio Gonzalez getting outs like he did just a week ago, a little over a week ago actually. He's on 8 days rest. Is that good for him or is it bad for him?
Yeah, it's not an issue. .84 ERA, as we mentioned in the AutoNation scouting report. He is very good with extended rest, both 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. He's made 3 starts this year. He's been just fine. In fact, typically better. Part of that might be the wear and tear. Gio's been doing this for quite some time. A little extra rest, something that seems to benefit him.
Marcell Ozuna finds himself in the 3 spot behind Stanton. Christian Yelich a scheduled night off. Ichiro's in center. He's down in the 7 spot. So Real Muto hits cleanup. Dietrich hits 5th.
I saw that first fastball from Gio, breaking ball to Marcell Ozuna right there, and that's what makes his breaking ball a special one. It's 12-6. It starts at the letters, but it ends at the toes. Very few in the game today can throw a breaking ball and start it out that high in the strike zone and get it to below the knees as it crosses home plate. Incredibly effective pitch. In fact, he has not given up a home run on his curveball this season.
And boy, has he been good against Miami. In his last 5 starts against the Marlins, he's given up only 4 runs.
You see how it drops, and that's actually one that stayed up a little bit more, but that first one started out in about the same spot and got down by the toes. Yes, he's got very, very good numbers. Love to use that breaking ball.
Ozuna cracks that one foul and up into the seats. And the count 2-2. Marlins win last night. Brought them back to 5 under 500, 53 and 58. Didn't really put a dent in the Nationals' sizable lead. In the National League East, Washington 13 games ahead of Miami. The Marlins are in the number 2 spot in the division. Atlanta's 15 back. The Mets are 15.5 back. 3-2. That one is wide of third. You saw Don Mattingly in the dugout. It's always fun to get a scouting report for opposing pitcher from Mattingly, because not only was he an accomplished major league hitter, but also a hitting coach himself. And the thing he talked about with Gio was very few guys in this game have as good a curveball as he does and can put it on either side of the plate and command either side of the plate.
Adds and subtracts. It's a very, very effective pitch for Gio. That's why he leans on it so much, and he's been improving on it all season long.
Ozuna scorches one into center field for a hit. A 2-out single, and that gets Real Muto to the plate.
Well, Marcell Ozuna is going to improve the batting average against on that curveball as he lines one into center field. Nice at bat. Laid off a really tough 2-2 pitch, a fastball down. And you see Marcell back. He'd been slow, a little slow on this road trip. Day off yesterday. For 16 coming into tonight's ballgame.
Here's a Real Muto. JT climbs in. The OPS is healthy at 837. Batting average just a tick under 300. And he takes out. There aren't a whole lot of guys in the lineup that have scorched this lefty out of Hialeah. Gio Gonzalez has had his way with the fish. Now, Real Muto 16 at bats, 5 hits. Marcell Ozuna has the only home run against Gio. Real Muto lines it into the seats and busted his bat in the process.
Yeah, and that again. What so many times makes Gio so good. He's a 3-pitch guy. Listen, he throws the 4-seam fastball. He'll cut it at times. He's got the curveball. We've talked about that. Yeah, this is back-to-back changeups, people. JT's thinking, all right, he threw me a first-pitch changeup. He's not going to throw me another changeup. Yes, he is. His eyes are deceived by the lack of velocity out in front and breaks his bat. Throws that changeup about 18% of the time. But the real difference this season that's made this year special for Gio is that curveball rate has gone up. It's up near 25%. The fastball rate has gone down about 6%.
Real Muto, I believe this is the first game that he's ever played with Ryan Addington behind the plate, a rookie umpire. He wants to get off on the right foot. So we had a polite conversation after that call. 1-2. Golfs that one down the left field line, and that's foul. Is that Captain Obvious there? It is. It should be quite obvious.
Keep your arms and legs inside the ballpark.
There is Addington.
He's sitting down there in the seat where the fan last night reached over.
Gonzalez is having, and we noted this in Miami, he's just having a terrific season. And he strikes out Real Muto. Change up and a good one. He punches out 2. Adam Conley gets the ball next for the Fish. Showdown brought to you by GMC. Marlins and Nationals. The White House, one of the places you must stop and see when you're in Washington, D.C. Southwest brings you Washington's lineup. Brian Goodwin has been a really nice offensive piece in the absence of Adam Eaton in center field. Adrian Sanchez is back in there. Daniel Murphy has a sore hip, sore side, available to pinch hit. Harper, Zimmerman, Rendon, Wieters, Kendrick, Defoe, with Nat Geo in the 9 spot. And Adam Conley delivers strike 1 at the knees. Conley's numbers don't really tell the whole story, especially since he's come back from New Orleans.
Yeah, since returning 4 starts, 2.42 ERA. Biggest difference is the whip. On the season, a 157 whip, which says, yeah, he's been hit around a little bit and walks a few too many at times. But that 115 whip in his last 4 starts certainly tells you the improvements he's been making. Good stuff. You're going to see the fastball, slider, and changeup. He talks about how the fastball sets up his secondary pitches. I think the slider will be a big pitch for him tonight.
See, I thought with whip you were headed towards delivery. Couple of hops for Gordon. Goes to get it, fires to first, and Goodwin is out. And D. Gordon headlines Miami's defense.
Yeah, let's take a look at this Marlins defense tonight. A little different. Ozuna back in left field, and Ichiro is playing center field tonight. Christian Yelich the night off. Giancarlo Stanton over in right. Dietrich, Rojas, Gordon, Tyler Moore back in at first base. JT Realmuto and Adam Conley.
Christian Yelich off night tonight. Sanchez goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Adrian Sanchez last night had an up and down night. He ended up with 3 hits, including a double and an RBI. But he made an error on a ground ball at second. Of course, he lost track of the outs, and on that sliding catch by Ichiro, he was doubled off first, and he's still hitting. He figures if he's going to fill in for Daniel Murphy, he might as well swing the bat like Daniel Murphy.
Well, he has the last 2 ball games. Now his 4th hit. None of them cheap, much like this. Fastball away, stays on it, goes the other way, looking to go the other way against Conley, the lefty. Line drive, base hit to right.
So a 4-game streak for Sanchez. And here is Harper. Adam Conley's last start, he pitched well, albeit for maybe 1 pitch to 1 hitter. Grounder up the middle, Rojas to the bag, steps on it, flips to first, and gets the double play. And a nice tight first inning for Adam Conley. Marlins and Nationals in D.C. tonight. This is a 4-game series. The Marlins and the Nationals play tomorrow night. Marlins and Rockies on Friday night. The Rockies may have already touched down in South Florida. They played a day game today, even though they went extras. Charlie Blackmon led them to a 3-2 win in Cleveland. And the Rockies arrive for that weekend series at 65-49.
They're hanging in there,
holding one of the National League wild cards.
Pretty impressive what the Diamondbacks and Rockies have been able to do, watching this Dodgers team streak to the top of the National League.
Arizona plays the Dodgers tonight. There's a strike to Derek Dietrich. All right, lost in the Stanton blast somewhat. It was Derek Dietrich's nice night last night. Dietrich has had a really fine 10-game run. 2-run single, solo homer last night. Doubled in game 1.
Another look at last night's ball game. All right, gets a slider here, fought off a couple of tough pitches. No doubter to right field. He got cold 2 times in a row now. That at bat, Oliver Perez, outstanding. 7 different types of fastballs, meaning moving it around the zone. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, big base hit.
Dietrich drops the barrel on that one, and Harper runs it down in right. Did you know that Billy the Marlin is turning, I believe, 25? And a special event to his birthday. Gets an exclusive Billy the Marlin birthday bobblehead. You get a photo with Billy, not in the hot tub though. No photos in the hot tub, please. Bring your donation of back-to-school supplies, and you get a special photo autographed by Billy. Get your tickets at marlins.com/special events. That's this Sunday, Rockies and Marlins. Tyler Moore, former National, getting the start at first. And he smokes one in the hole and into left field. So the Marlins managed to get 2 hits already against Gonzalez. Remember, it took them 9 innings, or until the 9th inning, to get a hit.
A little ribbon going on between the dugout and Tyler Moore. Good to see Tyler break out of it a little bit. He's had a rough road trip and a nice swing of the bat right there. Good numbers over his last 18 starts. Had to feel good.
We'll see if the at-bats for Ichiro last night paid off. He did hit some balls sharply. And you would think, hey, lefty here, not an easy ride, especially with Gio's curveball. But Ichiro, in his long and illustrious career, has fared pretty well against Gio Gonzalez when Ichiro was a Mariner and Gio was pitching for Oakland and going to an all-star game. Ichiro had a lot of at-bats against him. That one has double play written on it. Sanchez to Defoe in time to get Ichiro. And Gio Gonzalez with a double play ball. Both pitchers effective, working quickly. Scoreless game.
telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Well, there's some confusion there. You got Marlins, you got Nationals, and you got Adam Conley working quickly, throwing strike one. Of course, Marlins jerseys, everybody's jerseys will look a little different this coming weekend in baseball. It's Players Weekend. We talked about it about 2 months ago. It's a weekend where the players get to express themselves a little bit. They'll put nicknames on the back of the jerseys, and the jerseys won't look anything like the ones they're wearing tonight. That one foul back and out of play. Here's a look at some of the nicknames and the jerseys. If you go to Marlins.com, you can read up on it. Tim Healy in the Sun Sentinel tonight on SunSentinel.com has a really nice article on some of the backstories. That's a drill. Left field. Zimmerman goes out. And it's 1-0 Washington. He has been cold since the All-Star break, but he awakens here, and it's 1-0.
Gets himself a 2-strike slider, turns it around, a rocket shot out to left. That'll snap his 0-for-19 streak against the Marlins he had going. 2-strike slider. Look at JT Realmuto, just above home plate. Number 240 in Zimmerman's career.
Anthony Rendon fouls it back.
One more look at that. That slider did not get far enough in, especially for a 2-strike pitch. Sends it out over that inner third.
906 RBIs, and that is a new Expo/Nationals franchise record. The record holder is here not to watch Zimmerman.
There he is.
Break the record, but he's here to try to beat him. That's Tim Wallach, the former great Expo third baseman. Total bases record also broken that used to belong to Wallach. Rendon is still at home plate and still pleading his case with the young umpire.
That slider, kudos to Conley to go back to that slider with 2 strikes. He needs to establish it. It's a big pitch for him tonight.
Our Fox tracks misfired, but looking on the app on MLB at bat, that is a strike. It has the plate, and it is just above the knees.
It's a very big pitch for him. He cannot just merely move his fastball around the strike zone. This Nationals team has been very aggressive lately. They've been going after the first or second pitch all series long. That slider is going to be a big pitch tonight. Nationals 13-8 versus left-handed starters, so good numbers up and down this lineup.
Conley misses in. Waiters had last night off. That was a Jose Lobaton, but he's been swinging the bat pretty well. Had the big grand slam at Wrigley Field to lead the Nationals to a series win over the Cubs. Knocked in a run with a single on Monday night. Do you think a hitter, and there's a look at Dusty. Last night his knee was giving him problems. In fact, his knee locked up. And so he had to have a little medical attention to it last night. Feeling much better, moving much better tonight. Dietrich across the diamonds in time to get Wieters. Now the Fox tracks that we have is the same technology that the umpires are graded on. Do you think a guy like Rendon, after arguing with the umpire, staying there a long time, putting up a big stink, goes into the video room, sees that, is his reaction, I was wrong, or I don't believe Fox tracks?
No, his reaction is he's wrong. These guys trust the technology that's out there today. They see the strike zones, and if they know, and in fact, he probably will whisper something. It always gets lost, right? When you watch it happen the first time, it's front page news, and the apologies on page 32. That's how it goes, right? He'll whisper as the action's going on. He'll sneak into the box and say, hey, listen, man, sorry about the grief I gave you on the last at bat, and then they'll move on. Because
invariably what happens is an umpire that works home plate at the end of the night gets a report with every pitch that he calls a ball or a strike. Howie Kendrick with a single into center. And so the next day or the next week or the next series, the next time they see each other, Rendon he realizes that the umpire is going to know whether he got it or didn't get it.
Right, and I always believed, I personally did, you know, of course we didn't have the technology when I played nearly the same as it was, but we definitely had the ability to go back and look. And I always wanted to make sure I cleaned up my messes. If I said something to an umpire and I was wrong and I found out about it, especially about a strike zone, honestly, the next at bat I got in there, I didn't want it to happen again. So I was always about letting them know that, hey, listen, man, I got a little, you know, maybe I didn't usually, very rarely cross the line. I just maybe said something, and if I was wrong, I would have admitted it.
Wilmer Defoe is up. Conley chasing Kendrick back. Speaking of that, Joe West was suspended for 3 games for comments he made in an interview. Someone asked him who's the biggest complainer that he sees in baseball, and Adrian Beltre was the guy he singled out. Now it seemed through his quotes he did it in a somewhat joking way, but still apparently Major League Baseball didn't appreciate his candor or his sense of humor and suspended him for 3 games.
I was a bit surprised at that one. I really was. He's merely answering a question, and it just,
if it's true, it's true, right? I mean,
that's kind of how I see it. Listen, I played with Adrian. I love Adrian. You know, maybe that's the case, but if somebody were to ask a question and you were to answer it honestly, I don't understand the harm in answering the question honestly. Maybe it's because they thought he took it too far, but I didn't feel that way. Funny, my initial reaction was, Joe West, now listen, he's not everybody's favorite umpire. I would have thought it would have been many other things before this. This would have been the 3-game suspension, really, after all these years. I was a little... I thought that was a bit shocking to me. I figured there would have been an incident somewhere else, or, you know, and maybe there was.
Maybe he was on double secret probation.
Sure, and they didn't announce it back in the day, so things were a little bit different back then. But when I heard this, I was a bit shocked. I really was.
Conley's,
I thought it was harmless.
Conley's come back to run the count full to Wilmer Defoe. This is going to start Kendrick from first with 2 outs. A Ryan Zimmerman home run, the only run of the night. Conley out of Olympia, Washington, though he lived in a variety of spots in the state, and of course pitched at Washington State. Line drive left center field. Ichiro into the gap. Can he cut it off? He does. Slides and gets it nicely. Fires a dart into second. I know he's 43. That's pretty impressive, because if that ball is bobbled at all, Howie Kendrick scores.
Fantastic job by Ichiro, streaking across the outfield into the left center field gap. Able to keep that ball in front, even if he doesn't come up with it clean, because he's able to keep the ball in front from going all the way to the wall. He's going to keep Kendrick from scoring, but because he is able to come up with it clean, he's able to go at first base.
So a couple 2-out singles. Here's Gonzalez, and Gio swings and misses at a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Gio homered against the Marlins long ago. Breaking ball misses in.
Was it a good swing? You remember?
I think it was here in this ballpark. I don't remember the swing, but if he hit it out, it must have been, right?
I don't know. I was kind of going off his first swing where he nearly hurt his back.
Counts 1-2.
So 92 miles an hour on that fastball up in the zone. That's a good sign for Conley. Maybe a little extra pop on that pitch tonight.
Conley gets him, strands a couple. Nationals get a run. Ryan Zimmerman with a solo shot. Includes a 4-gamer. Dan Straley, Tanner Roark. Marlins live at 6:30. 7:05 first pitch. Dan Straley, his season so far, nice ERA. The record a game under 500.
A couple of bumps out of the gates here in the second half. Really nice his last start. Good secondary action. Excuse me. Good action on his secondary pitches last time out. That slider had a lot more bite to it.
Miguel Rojas trying to get on base with Adam Conley behind him. And then up to the top of the order and D. Gordon. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. That's Gio Gonzalez line right now. And by the way, just in doing a little more research on his home runs, 3 career homers for the Hialeah kid. And one of those against the Marlins. That was his 2nd career homer. Kevin Slowey in 2013 gave it up. And Rojas rolls it up the middle. Defoe can't get it. Rolls into right center. And that sets up perfectly for Adam Conley. He also homered against Bartolo Colon and Armando Galarraga. So Gio's got 3 home runs in his career. Last homer was back in 2014 against Big Sexy. That used to be Richie Sexton's nickname, right? The big hitter for the Brewers and the Mariners. Conley in a bunt situation. Rojas at first. Let's see if he can get it down here. Pulls it back. A ball and a strike.
We might watch Gio mess around a little bit here, see if he can't get Conley to pop it up using that breaking ball. Gave him a first pitch fastball. Conley went after it. It was at the top of the zone.
Lays it down, and it's a good one. Gonzalez spins, fires to first. Safe it. Oh, no, out at first. Sanchez sprawling. The first base umpire, C.B. Buckner, felt he kept his foot on, and the Marlins will immediately look at it. Naked eye, it looked like the foot was off. Sometimes in a replay, you'll see that the foot stays on when the ball's in the interior of the glove, but this obviously bears looking at.
We've got a pretty good view up here, Rich. I'm going to go with safe at first. Looked to me like he really fell off the bag. The throw's going to take him off the line right there, off the bag. Sanchez does everything in his power just to catch the baseball, and as you can see,
Marlins are not going to challenge.
Oh, all right.
Has to be clear and conclusive.
Don't really have an angle other than where we're sitting here on top, looking down.
Gordon's up. Rojas is at second. And D sets down a bunt, and it's foul. Just foul. Yeah, that play in real time, you see it with the fielder falling over, and the foot separates from the bag. The ball's in the glove at about the same moment. And at this point of the ball game, it's a hard one to really burn your challenge on.
Right.
Unless you've seen what's clear and conclusive.
Well, our naked eye view, even from up here, is where we're over the play. You can almost see that space just a little differently than where you see it from all the camera angles. No joke, we're actually above them. So that's why it appeared to us that it was off the bag.
Gordon shoots a ground ball to third. Rendon across the diamond in time to get him. Toyota gives you an inside look, brought to you by the all-new RAV4. Giancarlo Stanton's home run log. 38, that's the best. Giving his team the lead, check, that's the best. Solos, check. With one out, check. On Wednesdays. That's getting a little ridiculous there, actually. Different pitchers, though, that's significant. 33 different pitchers. I know, it's Wednesday, and so that's the graphics department trying to, and Gio hits Stanton in the leg. So, it used to be long ago that if a pitcher really didn't want to pitch to a guy and waste pitches, he would just, hit him in the leg. But now with the intentional walk of not having to throw any pitches.
Yeah, there's no misunderstanding intent. I mean, Gio just really is just, he wasn't going to intentionally walk him at first. Maybe he would have if he would have fallen behind a couple of pitches. But right there, it's clear. We've seen this too many times, especially over the last 2 or 3 weeks. If anybody's missing, it's way inside on Stanton right now. Continue to hear me say it. If you miss on that inside lane, you're going to pay.
Well, it gets Ozuna up, and he cracked a single back in the first. You got Marlins at first and at second. Rojas is the lead runner. And, of course, Ozuna sitting at 87 runs driven in. The strike. There's your RBI leaders. We'll see Nolan Arenado in his 98s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You got Marcell Ozuna, Bryce Harper, Giancarlo Stanton, 3, 4, 5 here tonight. Jake Lamb is having an outstanding season with Arizona, I might add.
And he's really paired well with Paul Goldschmidt, that little left-right. Think of a boxer, right? You know, that little left-right punch. Oof. Two of them together have been absolutely dynamite this year offensively.
Gio with a changeup there, and it's 2-1.
As you saw right there, Gonzalez, back-to-back changeups. Remember, he did that to Rio Muto and was able to pick up the strikeout. Marcell has laid off both those changeups.
2-1 pitch, busted bat. Rendon cuts across. Another changeup. And an inning-ending ground ball. Nationals up 1-0. Unlimited baseball break. Nice salvo there by the baseball organ. Chris Sale, 8 innings. Red Sox have won 7 straight. And Sale is 14-4. Corey Kluber, a complete game 3 hitter, beating a really good offensive team in Colorado. Brian Dozier, 5 RBIs. Twins making the Brewers' life miserable. Brewers losing in that ball game. Bottom 3 here, top of the order for the Nationals. Adam Conley facing Brian Goodwin, who fouls a pitch back to the screen. Adrian Sanchez, Bryce Harper will follow. It is James Madison University night tonight. The Dukes. That one down the left field line. No fan touches it. Ozuna picks it up, and Brian Goodwin, extra base machine, is humming again tonight. That's his 3rd double of the series.
Extra bases continue to come his way. 2 strikes once again on the hitter. Goodwin shortens his swing, just kind of pokes it down the 3rd base line. Dietrich way off the line. Cruises into second base with an easy double. In fact, see that front side? That was almost, didn't even take a stride. Shortened it up, hit the barrel on the ball.
Here's Sanchez now, who has found a lot of hits out there, 4 of them last night and tonight. He squares the bunt and fouls it back. He sacrificed in this very same spot last night, moving Goodwin to 3rd, getting Harper to the plate. Harper scored the run with a ground ball out. Are you a fan of this bunting here with a 1-0 lead? You're the number 2 hitter. You've got 4 hits and 5 at bats in the series. And
No.
And some of this may not be Dusty Baker. This may be Adrian Sanchez figuring this is his best way to get a guy over.
I think this is a classic example of just giving up an out. You know, in this situation here, Sanchez is swinging the bat very, very well. You've got one of the best middle of your lineups in all of baseball coming up. You got Zimmerman, Rendon in there, obviously Bryce Harper. You know, getting him over to third, I understand playing the percentages, but when you're swinging the bat this well, he could easily take the mindset, I'm going to hit the ball to the right side, and still put himself in position to get ahead, as opposed to this.
There's the bunt. Dietrich has to wait for Gordon. D's there, and they get the out. Now let me ask you this: is it Dusty Baker's call here, or do you sense that this is Sanchez feeling this is my best chance to get him over?
I think that's Dusty's call right there. I mean, he squared it around, what, 3 different times? You know, that's something, you know, if it wasn't, to be honest, I think they may have had him step back out and flash a few different signs.
All right, well, here's Harper. He added to that total with a ground ball out, and the Marlins infield is actually going to creep forward. Harper bouncing a 6-3 double play back in the first.
Well, the other point that I would make even on this, you say, okay, well, wait a minute, Bryce Harper, you got a tough lefty out there. Bryce Harper's really good against lefties. Comes into tonight with a .297 batting average against lefties. This isn't a lefty-righty thing where you're like, oh, okay, well, I'll increase my percentages by doing it. I personally think you're giving up an out. I think it's unnecessary. If Sanchez wanted to move him over, he could have hit a ground ball to the right side and got the same thing. All the while, if he hits it hard enough and gets it into right field, pick up a base hit.
Realmuto has to slide out and smother it. Harper's homered in the series. He's knocked in 3. And we showed you the other night the youngest hitters in Major League history to get to, was it 150 home runs? Albert Pujols, the youngest. Giancarlo Stanton, and it's active players. Giancarlo Stanton second. Harper and Mike Trout actually did it at the same time.
24 years, 295 days.
That's to the top end of fastball for Conley at 93, and the count's 2-2. Harper still sitting on top of the National League slugging percentage list. Giancarlo Stanton right behind him. 4th in on base. Cracks it to left. Ozuna charges. Has to play it on a hop. And the run will score. Harper has an RBI single. Ozuna actually made a throw on that play because he was coming so hard. And for the Nationals' benefit, Goodwin was running hard. He didn't hesitate, even though he thought he would score easily.
Yeah, very similar approach from Bryce Harper right here, as you saw with Goodwin. A stationary swing, lets the ball travel, doesn't get big on his front side, just stays back. Goodwin has to stay back and read it. Marcell Ozuna slides, comes in, makes a sliding catch. He was going to tag, so when he sees him short hop it, he's got to break late. A little bit of a risk.
Zimmerman cranked one to left, his 25th homer of the season, and a 2-0 lead for Washington. Cubs lost this afternoon. The Giants beat them by a score of 3-1.
It looks like they may have lost Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, I saw that.
To leave the ball game with a. He went down in the outfield. He was really limping hard. Looked like a hamstring to me. Haven't heard anything, but that could be a huge loss for the Cubbies.
Well, of course, last year the Cubs had that insurance policy, David Ross, behind home plate. They just picked up Alex Avila, or Avila, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Apparently he's going towards his dad's pronunciation now and using Avila.
Well, the thing about it is, it's the production of Contreras that is, setting this all up. He's had a tremendous second half. I believe he's already double digits in home runs. He's been a big player in the middle of that Cubs lineup.
It was a Madison Bumgarner start. 2-2. That's in the gap, and that's trouble. Let's see if Harper's going to race home. Ichiro cuts it off. Relay throw. Gordon waiting. Harper coming. Throw is over Gordon's head, and Harper scores. Zimmerman gets a double. Nationals 3-0. Everything needed to be perfect for Miami in that relay, and it was not.
Bob Henley did a nice job reading the throw of Ichiro. It's a great read on his part. He's got Harper moving around those bases full throttle. Watch the read. The read becomes Ichiro cutting this ball off. So he hasn't sent Harper. So if you're not given a sign, you see it right there. He just starts on the high throw from Ichiro. He misses the first cutoff man, and that's when he sent him. So the Nats able to pick up another run. A little bit of a late send, waiting for that high throw.
Marlins are going to intentionally walk Anthony Rendon, and all of a sudden Zimmerman has arisen from his second half slumber.
He's not cold anymore.
No, with a home run and a double. Matt Wieters now with runners first and second. And remember, there's still only one out in the inning. And Adam Conley right now trying to prevent this from becoming a big inning.
Conley's going to have to find a way to put these Nats hitters away. He's been able to get to 2 strikes multiple times. He's failed to consistently put the hitters away.
Now this is Conley's first start against the Nationals this year. Last year he made 3. And he made a start in 2015. As a whole, his ERA against this team is 8. Bouncer to third. Dietrich to the bag, crossed the diamond in time, and Miami gets a 5-3 double play. But the Nationals add 2 to the 4th, 3-0. in D.C. Our Wednesday showdown brought to you by GMC, Marlins and Nationals. Banks of the Anacostia River. Play taking off from Reagan National. And Bryce Harper, who is probably more popular than any politician in this town.
I think he could be one if he wanted to be.
I think he has the best hair of anyone in this town.
That's the question. If he ran for something, you think he'd win?
Well, he was running for home, and he's
not the answer I'm looking for.
He was able to capture that race.
Well, he did.
Miami trying to bounce back here. JT Realmuto. And of course the Fish up against Gio Gonzalez. That last start for Gio meant a lot to a lot of people. Gonzalez and Harper before the ball game heard that Jose Fernandez's fiance and his daughter, mom and abuela, were also at the ballpark. The first time they'd been back. And they both asked to see the family. Realmuto lines one into right field. That's a hit. Penelope had come to a ball game for the first time in her young life. And Gio and Harper asked to come over, see the baby. All the Marlin players a chance to meet her, many for the first time as well. And of course Gio went out there and pitched his heart out. It was D. Gordon who broke up the no-hitter, and of course Gordon had that emotional home run the game after Jose's death. And one of the most touching moments of that game was Gonzalez coming off of the field after being lifted after the hit and losing the no-hitter in the ninth, looking over to the on-deck circle, and there was Giancarlo Stanton applauding him. Not in an overt way, but he put the bat under his shoulder and was giving him a round of applause. Don't see that very often. Dietrich bangs one off his foot. Tyler Moore also due up here in the fourth. I know we did talk about Joe West, so I think it's our responsibility to let you know that a guy that was a popular umpire when he worked in the major leagues for a long time, 23 years, Ken Kaiser passed away at the age of 72. Big wrestling fan, as I remember, Ken Kaiser. And was big enough that he did a little wrestling himself. Up the middle, backhanded there, flipped by Sanchez, safe at first. On the turn by Defoe.
Dietrich getting out of the box quick is what keeps this from being a spectacular double play. Watch Sanchez in the glove work. No hand, yeah, right from glove to glove. Toss it across. Dietrich out of the box quick. Pretty fancy turn by the Nats. Dietrich beats it by a step.
Nationals are actually looking at the slide at second, but it looks pretty darn clean. Or maybe he's, well, wait a minute. There's two things he can look at here. He can look at the slide at second or the play at first. In your opinion, which one do you think he's looking at?
He's got to be looking at the play at second, because I'm absolutely convinced he's safe at first. So I'm going to assume the opposite.
Nationals had an odd challenge last night on that interference play. All right, we're going to look at both parts of this play. Here's Realmuto's slide.
Still up. It's across the bag. don't see anything wrong there.
Well, I think they're looking at first base.
They're going to lose their challenge if they do that.
They're challenging safe at first base. Dusty just saw the slow motion replay up on the board. And we did as well. I don't know if there's enough to overturn it. Here's our first look at it for you guys.
I just think he's flat out safe. His foot's already on top of first base. You see it just starting to hit the back of the glove right there.
He's safe. Go. So the Nationals lose their challenge here in the 4th inning. It's close, but interior of the glove, you can see the glove move when the ball's in it. Tyler Moore now single back in the 2nd. Moore, a former National, getting the start at first. Marlins have used a platoon of Moore and Tomas Talis with a special guest appearance by JT Realmuto at first base since Justin Bour's been out. The target for Bour's return is early September with the oblique injury. Marlins have really missed him. He was having obviously a very nice year, an all-star worthy season. And the hope is that he's back in September and can contribute in that final month of the year.
Yeah, that's where Dietrich has been big pick-me-up of late.
Moore's got another hit, this one to left field. Dietrich turns second and holds there. So 2 for 2 is Moore. Ichiro's coming up. And we remind you again about the ballpark pass, in which you can use on your phone, your mobile device, your watch, tablet. $29.99 a month, and it gets you into home games in August and in September. And of course, there's some great matchups. The Nationals are coming to Marlins Park. The Rockies are coming to Marlins Park. Giants are coming to Marlins Park. The Brewers are coming to Marlins Park. Mets will be there as well. Phillies. MLB.com ballpark app. Ichiro bounced into a double play.
Opportunity to break through here. Runners on first and second, one down in the 4th. Gio went fastball away, fastball into Ichiro. Let's see what they choose this time.
In this modern day, some people now really are leaning on spin rate to measure curveball effectiveness. In your mind, what makes Gonzalez curveball so good? Because you hear Don Mattingly, you hear Marlin hitters talk about they don't see this type of breaking ball very often.
Well, there's 2 things right off the top. Number 1, he throws it for a strike when he wants to, when he can. Go get a strike with it, not just the swinging miss. He'll throw it the first pitch of an at bat. Throw get me over.
Fastball, line drive, base hit, left center field. Dietrich races around third, and he's going to score. And Ichiro comes through with an RBI single. It's a 3-1 ball game.
Beautiful piece of hitting from Ichiro.
Maybe he should have thrown the breaking ball there.
Able to stay on the fastball. 3 straight fastballs away. This one lined into left center field. More than enough to get Dietrich around. How big was that play at first base now? Which is the Marlins' first run.
Dietrich carrying a couple pounds of gold there with him around the bases. Here's Rojas now. Same spot, runners first and second. So the breaking ball,
he's got the ability, number 1, to throw it for a strike, and he can put you away with it. And the thing about his breaking ball is that hitters, and what I've talked to Marlins hitters about, is that you see it for such a long time. It starts out at the top of the zone. It ends up a lot of times down by your ankles, and you track it well, but it's got such good spin, It's 12-6. Tons of movement. That it is hard to predict exactly where that connect spot is out in front of home plate, and it's a lot harder to do. There's not as much horizontal movement across the strike zone. It's more about where it comes down, where it's going back out with your swing, and you've got to be so precise to hit it square. Very difficult to do.
So a more traditional vertical drop?
Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt. That's what he does, and he throws it more. And that's the thing. I mean, the proof is in, you look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. He's up 6% this year for a reason. He trusts it.
2-1 to Miami shortstop Miguel Rojas. Well, he nearly no-hit Miami. He did for 8 innings his last start. Tonight, Miami has 6 hits already, but just a run, and Matt Wieters is out to talk to Gio Gonzalez.
That's a big spot. Miguel Rojas base hit tonight's ball game. 1 for 3 last night, starting to really pick it up here. Had a walk. It's .382 career batting average coming into tonight's ball game against the Washington Nationals. Best versus any team for Miguel Rojas.
Saw Mike Maddox last night. He made pitching changes last night and actually helped Dusty Baker stand when Baker had a challenge late in the game and had to talk with umpires. Rojas drives it right center field. It chases Goodwin back into the corner, makes the catch, and fires to the relay man. Moore is going to take third. They sent him into the gap. Ichiro had the play in front of him, but he had to hold because the throw went to second. And the Marlins do move the runner, but they've got the pitcher coming up, Adam Conley.
Adam a sacrifice bunt his first time up. He's going to be asked to come up with a big base hit.
He has a couple this year. That's the last thing Gio wants to do is send one to the screen.
He struggled a little bit more with his curveball over the last couple innings. Seemed like he had it early on. In this inning, he's kind of onto that changeup a little bit more. Not that he'll do it here against Conley.
Fastball in. 2-0.
I wonder if this had anything to do with that last at bat a couple innings ago. Kind of came out after that first swing. Kind of grimaced just a little bit, like he kind of had tweaked his back just a little bit. And I know the evidence wasn't right away, but I mean, as good as we've seen Gio this season, he's really struggling with his command this inning.
Conley's certainly going to take here. And Gonzalez gets a strike. Will he take 3 and 1?
He should.
All right, so he's come up with 2 strikes.
Oh, here's the kicker. The reason you take 3-1 is because now you get to send Ichiro on the pitch. So he's going to get an extra few steps if Conley happens to run into something. Got an easier time getting Ichiro around the bases. He still has to throw a strike.
Conley fights off 1-3-2 pitch.
Zimmerman playing deep from the get-go, so Ichiro can get a huge jump here if Conley happens to find some green grass in that outfield.
Strike 3 called. Conley goes down. Miami's 4th is over, and it was at the knees and on the black. Gio Gonzalez ends the Marlins' threat, but not before they get a run and make it 3-1. cricket presents something to smile about.
Wait, Thomas, stop them. The book he's reading is about Mount Rushmore, of course. Now they're all interested because the book is about them.
On National Book Day.
Interesting.
And the Mount Rushmore book works. Thomas Jefferson, ladies and gentlemen. Been trickery both nights that we've seen and presented that one. Last night, George Washington was throwing out phony $1 bills. And that distracted. Adam Conley, early action for the Nationals. We've seen that in this series. Howie Kendrick goes after the first pitch. The fly ball out to Marcell Ozuna. We've got Wilmer Defoe and Gio Gonzalez. Bottom third in the bottom of the fourth. And that certainly goes together for Conley and the Nationals, doesn't it? First pitch swinging Nationals. Conley likes to work quickly, likes to pound the strike zone.
Well, it's actually gotten to his favor tonight. He's been doing a good job of getting ahead. The problem has been putting hitters away. 7 hits for the Nats tonight. 6 of them come with 2 strikes.
Tomorrow night, South Florida Honda dealers get you going. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson in their finest men's clothing. Ties, pocket squares. Maybe Craig will bust out a tie clip in honor of Dan Straley's start. Tanner Roark goes for the Nationals. Defoe swings and misses. And Adam Conley has a strikeout, his 3rd of the night.
Nice changeup. Talked about putting hitters away. I mean, he's got to do a better job of that the rest of the way. We're down 2 runs here in the 4th. Changeup might become an important pitch the next couple of innings.
Gio goes after a fastball, and it's 0-1. That National League Central race, Milwaukee started a game and a half behind the Cubs. We told you that the Cubs lost to the Giants 3-1. Milwaukee is at home against Minnesota. They were doziered last night, as we showed you earlier. Milwaukee and Minnesota scoreless, bottom first. Line drive that's over the head of Rojas, who looked like he mistimed his leap. He looked like a defender going for the ball fake.
Yeah, well, the swing was big. The result was not come off the bat as hard as it once appeared. And you see it catches it off the end. Enough to get over the outstretched glove of Rojas. If he had to do it again, he probably would have taken a couple steps back, and then you would have seen the leap. You see the frustration right there. That's pretty much what we've been talking about tonight. 8 hits now, 7 with 2 strikes.
Bryant Goodwin's got a double, another one. He's got 4 hits, 3 of them doubles in the series. And he fouls it off. We saw Jason Worth taking batting practice today. That's a great sign for the Nationals. We've seen Trey Turner taking ground balls as well. Steven Strasburg threw a simulated game, and now rehab games are next. Swing and a miss. There's Steven Strasburg today. The sim game, as they call it.
There's Jason Worth. There's the sim game.
Oh, nice strikeout there. And a 3-1 Nationals lead. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By Hankook. Chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Gorgeous night. Sun setting on DC. Looks like the bat signal is on. I think that only flashes when the Nationals have the lead. There's a bouncer to first. And Zimmerman gets to the bag. So an out here in the fifth. Giancarlo Stanton's coming up. Marcell Ozuna behind him. 3-1 Nationals. If you can't watch on television, take the Marlins with you on Fox Sports Go. Download it now from the App Store. Fox Sports Go, your mobile device. Will get the game in brilliant high definition.
Giancarlo Stanton, 17 homers, 33 RBIs his last 28 games.
Gio went low, then goes high, and he's out in front 0-2. Stanton was hit by a pitch down around the legs. Gonzalez misses in, counts 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Gonzalez still working around the strike zone, has not thrown him strike in the zone yet.
Stanton, a sharp ground ball, backhanded by Sanchez, and he throws him out. By the way, last night we were asked on email and Twitter Tuesday, what's the record for the most home runs over a 30-game span? Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds share the record. Sosa did it 5 times. And all of that, of course, right around that 98 season from May to late June. Bonds did it in 2001 at 21.
Rich, you know, you mentioned the players this weekend are going to be wearing their names, their nicknames, if they so choose, on their jerseys. The Yankees are actually going to participate in this. It's a big deal for the Yankees. The name on the back of the pinstripes has never happened, and it's going to happen for the first time this weekend.
Well, have you seen a look at what the Yankee jerseys look like?
Well, not with the name on the back yet. I'm going to have to wait till this weekend.
Because the Marlins jerseys are actually blue.
Yeah.
Into right. Harper's there, makes the catch. Gio Gonzalez, a 1-2-3 fifth. Halfway through, it's 3-1 Nationals. 3-1. Geico presents the State Marlins history. Remember Chuck Carr? He could run. First walk-off homer as the Marlins beat the Cardinals 5-3. End of the bat, lots of English, and it leads more right to the base. Adrian Sanchez, once again, the Nationals going after the first pitch. And Conley gets a quick out. The Yankee jerseys for Players Weekend are going to look like solid, that dark Yankee navy with the gray sleeves. With the nicknames on the back.
First time ever.
And I'm sure this weekend when the Marlins and the Rockies play, that'll be one of our topics, is all the nicknames, how they got the nicknames.
Right.
For both teams, really. Harper a bunt. Conley getting over. Nice flip. Conley bare hands, but he's safe. That was bang, bang. Harper, the ball, and Conley all arriving at the same point. And Conley barehanded the flip from Moore. Marlins will look at it on video. Here's a look.
Tyler Moore does. Quick shuffle across. Watch Harper. Just hits the front of the bag.
He was hunting that front of the bag, and he got there. That's that dangerous, as we talked about it.
Now you can almost see the effort that Harper uses to kind of get his weight over his front foot to kind of get a little bit more towards the front of the bag. It pays off. Gets him a bunt base hit.
And he's on for Zimmerman, who has blistered 2 baseballs, one into the seats and left for a solo homer, and a double in the gap in right center for an RBI double. That drove home Harper from first. Harper's there again, and Zimmerman takes a strike. That's a wicked wild pitch that caroms off of Real Muto.
JT unable to keep this slider in front. Rolls up the arm there, and once it gets past that left shoulder, easy for Bryce Harper to move up. Zimmerman, .296 batting average on the season with runners in scoring position.
And he's going to knock home another run. Harper scores. Zimmerman, big damage tonight. He's a triple away from the cycle, and he's driven in a run with each of the single, the double, and the homer.
You know what, Rich? You probably have to go back to last night to really kind of get the sense of where Zimmerman was at. He lined out a couple times hard last night, didn't get anything to show for it. It's paying off tonight. He's really stayed with it. Remember, the home run was to left. Base hit right here. Into center field, scores Harper easily.
And the wild pitch certainly hurts. There's Rendon. He struck out and was intentionally walked. If this merry-go-round in the National League were to end today, Rendon and the Nationals and Marlins tomorrow night, it would be the Nationals and the Cubs in a division series matchup. That's why everyone was paying particular attention to the series over the weekend at Wrigley Field. Dusty Baker and the Nationals won 2 of 3. It will be Arizona and Colorado fighting it out in the wild card game for the right to stay in the division and play Los Angeles.
The offense showed up for the Nats over that weekend in Chicago. Their rotation wasn't sound. It wasn't Scherzer and Gio getting it done against the Cubs.
It was the B team.
It was the likes of Edwin Jackson, in fact.
That's right, Strasburg on the disabled list. Gio on paternity leave. And Scherzer just simply out of turn faced Miami in game 1 here. Reports on Wilson Contreras, as you pointed out, point to the right hamstring, an MRI to be performed. One and two, 4-1 Nationals. Rendon, high fly ball. Ozuna plants himself, and there's the second out. Matt Wieters comes up. Conley's been able to get him to bounce to third twice. One was a double play.
Conley has made some mistakes in tonight's ball game, but has one out away from getting through 5 and this Marlins team at least a shot at Gio.
Speaking of injuries today, the Blue Jays made it official. Troy Tulowitzki will miss the rest of the regular season with a right ankle injury. He sustained ligament damage, which was originally thought to be a sprain. American League wild card race a lot less clear than the National League race. Kansas City, Minnesota, Seattle won again today. They're 3 over now. The Angels have hope. The Yankees, of course, the Rays, and Baltimore's played better. Baltimore did lose to the Angels 5-1. Baltimore's 2 under. Angels are 1 under. Seattle 3 over. Minnesota's a game under. Kansas City 2 over. That one is pulled deep and foul.
The American League is more of a mess right now. I'm not sure anybody has really staked their claim to the wild card spots or has even played in such a way that they look like they're getting ready to make a run.
But to look, to teams, especially like Baltimore, Minnesota, the Angels, it's a beautiful mess because they're in the race.
They have hope.
Ouch. Real Muto took the full force of that. And he's going to have to work this one out a little bit. Right off the top of the knee.
There's a pad there, but you still most definitely feel that. Catcher catchers truly are warriors, I'll tell you.
How do catchers do in like an off-season Pilates class? I mean, with as all the squatting and as the dexterity that they've got to have with their lower body.
They dominate. That's what they do.
I always thought a guy like Benito Santiago would just go in and
he used to sit down on the dirt, right? Put that one leg out there, throw you out from the seat of his pants.
Tony Pena used to lay that leg down.
Always amazed at that. I tell you, I tried that as a kid. Didn't work so well.
.86 pitches now for Conley. Zimmerman homered in the second. RBI double in the third. RBI single here. And that's in. And the inning grows a little longer now, and Howie Kendrick comes up.
Conley trying to be a little bit more careful with those 2-strike pitches, hoping for some bad contact or swing and misses. Peters lays off. Kendrick a base hit, second. High fly ball to left, fourth. .340 in a Nats uniform for Kendrick, so nice showing so far as a Nat.
Finally got healthy. Started the season with the Phillies.
Lots of playing time currently.
I think the Nationals, Mike Rizzo, Dusty Baker, just have to be ecstatic with the way guys like Kendrick, Goodwin have played. Defoe has been a nice stopgap at short while Trey Turner rehabs the broken wrist.
Absolutely great point. What ends up happening, you've now extended opportunity to a few of your younger players. They've stepped up into some roles and they've played particularly well. They are going to benefit from when these games in late September, you get to the postseason, if needed, are going to step in and be able to perform. This offense has really come together this year. They've been outstanding.
Javi Guerra is up in Miami's bullpen. Guerra just called up. And Conley misses in here. So he's gone 3-0. Howie Kendrick. Zimmerman at second. Wieters at first. Kendrick rips one down the left field line. That's trouble. Gets to the wall. Ozuna picks it off. Zimmerman scores. Wieters holds at third base. And the Nationals tack on another.
Well, Howie Kendrick, the veteran hitter, knows that Conley's near the end of the road. Picks on a 3-0 pitch and rips it to the left field corner. See the balance. Head down. Didn't overswing on that, that 3-0 pitch. Just right on it. Except his second hit of the game.
Tom Manley is going to walk Defoe to load the bases. Defoe had the look of a guy that hasn't been walked intentionally much. He was a bit surprised. That's going to bring Gio Gonzalez to the plate. As the Marlins try to get Conley through this inning. And Gio could not check his swing. Oh, 2.
Has not thrown a fastball to Gio. Sit back. Don't anticipate a fastball being thrown here either.
Gio to left. Back goes Ozuna, and he's got it. A running catch. Slams against the wall. On an 0-2 pitch, Gio Gonzalez sends Marcell Ozuna to the track. Nationals add 2 and lead it 5-1. Tough night for Adam Conley. 11 Nationals hits, 5 runs. Plenty of support for Gio Gonzalez, who is at 78 pitches.
The difference between Gio tonight and his last start, the curveball has abandoned him just a little bit. Marlins will scratch across a run, using that changeup an awful lot more.
Realmuto bounces it. Rendon throws him out. And a grounder to third opens the 6th inning. All right, so Gio Gonzalez here has 5 runs of support. We established that fact?
I'm with you.
All right, well, that's confirmed. In 99 previous starts, when he gets 4 or more runs of offensive support, he's 78-0. So there's some no decisions in there, but he hasn't been beaten. 78-0. Dietrich flips one out to Defoe at short. 2 outs, and it takes us right into a big cold beer. Burgers and beer on a Friday night ticket offer with the Rockies. You get a juicy hamburger, a craft beer, and a game ticket. It starts at just $30. Marlins.com/burger. There's the beer.
Tyler Moore's had himself a very nice ball game. A couple of hits so far tonight. See him get back going. Hector Cervenka up in the Marlins bullpen.
Gonzalez humming along here. Gave up a run on an Ichiro single back in the 4th.
As I mentioned, there have been a few less breaking balls tonight. He's really started leaning on that changeup. He's got a good feel of it right now, and he's been throwing it a lot.
Struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez. Nationals 5-1. Washington, D.C. tonight. Game 3, 4-game series. A game apiece so far. Nationals a 1-run win on that Adam Lynn pinch hit single in Game 1. Marlins last night rode the bat of Derek Dietrich and Giancarlo Stanton to a 7-3 win. And here tonight, the Nationals knock out Adam Conley after 5 innings. And Hunter Cervenka.
Well, Hunter into the ball game, looking to get things back on track. He's been knocked around his last couple of times out. 3 earned runs his last 2 appearances each. The problem is the walks. You see it. More walks than strikeouts.
Brian Goodwin. One of the things that should help Goodwin moving forward. He can play all 3 outfield positions. We've seen him in center. He's played well defensively out there. In his major league debut last year. But it's still a rookie.
You mentioned it last inning, Rich. You know, a lot of other Nats have been extended to long opportunities of playing time here this season. It's only going to benefit this Nationals team as they make their way towards the postseason.
16 of his last 22 hits have been for extra bases. That includes the double in this ball game. Cervenka fastball misses in. And it's 3-1.
Now this fastball supposed to be low and away, ends up and in. A lot of times what happens to a hitter, you feel that catcher slide out, you see that low target kind of peripherally, your back eye, you feel him out there, and all of a sudden you get buzzed up and in. It get a little bit of a late reaction.
Up and in, and then down and away. And Cervenka, who had control issues in his last time out, with a walk here. Superheroes, where's the Hulk when we need him? Well, apparently he's coming to Marlins Park. Modeled after Todd Hollandsworth, you can see the rippling muscles. Todd not as green as the Hulk. Limited edition Hulk bobblehead for 6,000 fans. Also get a Marlins Avenger t-shirt. You get the Hulk with a special event ticket. Go to marlins.com/special events for those special event tickets.
Hulk's abs have abs.
Yes. He's much more ripped than Bill Bixby ever was, the
It's true.
original TV Hulk.
He was just moody.
Yeah.
He was a moody character. Hulk not so much. You knew what you got with the Hulk.
I keep wanting to toss down to Jessica Blaylock for a reaction, but we'd have to call her in Helsinki, Finland. She's on assignment for the Florida Panthers show, Inside the Panthers, which is critically acclaimed. And so she's in Finland. Sasha Barkov is her subject for Inside the Panthers. How's that, Finland? You ever been to Finland?
Nope.
Me neither. Sanchez says it hit him. Marlins will certainly take a look at the videotape. This is reviewable for both sides, whether it did or didn't hit.
We saw this the other day with Tomas Talis. It was verified.
Back leg pants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's verified.
He did a pretty good job of selling that. That's become, that gesture right there for managers across baseball has become a real sad pose, isn't it? You have so many hopes for
like I surrender,
cupping your ears.
Yes.
I can't wait to cup my ears and review this, that when you're told from the video room that nah, it hit him, it's sort of a resignation of, all right, go ahead, restart the game. Yes,
we're not winning.
It's the
call, that is.
Not challenging.
Right.
So Cervenka has walked a hitter, hit a batter, and his reward is Bryce Harper.
Multi-hit games, 4 of his last 6. Bunt base hit his last time up. A very nice drag bunt to the right side. Adam Conley to the first base bag.
Cervenka really is having some control issues.
It's led to a lot of trouble for him his last 2 times out. As I mentioned, 3 earned runs both times.
2 walks against Cincinnati, 3 against Atlanta, and just 2/3 of an inning combined. So Guerra is up. And the 2-0 pitch. Boy, it's for Cervenka right now. He's having trouble even getting the ball to his catcher. And some concern in Miami's dugout. Mattingly, Perry Hill.
In a lot of ways, this is a confidence issue. When Cervenka was recalled originally, he was locked in. In fact, had a real nice appearance towards the end of July.
Harper lines at left field. Ozuna sets himself, makes the catch. A runner will score. Goodwin comes across. Bryce Harper knocks in another run, and here comes Zimmerman. And here's the day that he's had. How about a homer to start it? That was 1 RBI. This is a double. That's 2 RBIs. This is his single. And Harper comes racing home on that one, too. 3 RBIs, homer, double, single. And Don Mattingly's going to make a change here and bring in Guerra, the former Dodger right-hander. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. 6-1 Nationals. Florida Lottery at a $6 value for $5. When you ask for the grouper from the Florida Lottery, you could dance around like that. There's so many life-changing prizes. Get your group ready. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play, and play responsibly. Tomas Talis comes in a double switch. Javi Guerra is the new pitcher for Miami. And in this high-tech world we live in, you got tablet and charts. Rendon looking. Zimmerman studying.
It's what you do. Got all sorts of information at your fingertips. Don't read into those numbers too much. He's been pitching pretty well of late.
Yeah, he had a great start to his season down there, and a really nice last 2 or 3 weeks.
Earned him the call here to the Marlins. You've seen Zimmerman's night tonight, 3 ringing base hits. You do go back to last night's ball game. He was kind of triggered 3 double plays for the Nats last night. But what was so interesting is that he was hitting the ball well. You think to the double play that Ichiro turned, great sliding catch. That was a ringing line drive off Zimmerman's bat. He also lined out to first base. As I mentioned, he had been in quite a slump.
Javi Guerra is from Denton, Texas, born in Denton, Texas. Billy Ryan High School in Denton, Texas. Dodgers took him in the 4th round all the way back in 2004. A Dodger from 2011 through the 13th season. White Sox in 2014 and 15. And an Angel for 7 games in 2016. Zimmerman walks.
Javi Guerra was the closer before Kenley Jansen. 21 saves in 2011. It was a few years ago. Had a couple nice seasons at the major league level. Fastball, slider, curveball change. Fastball about 92, 93.
Rendon takes up. Remember, this was an Adam Conley start. 5 innings for Conley, 5 runs, 11 hits. Nationals add a run. That goes on Hunter Cervenka's line. Ball and a strike. High fastball again. 1 and 2.
Going to get Rendon to chase up top of the zone. Rendon's been willing most of this series to expand his strike zone. Gone outside the box a few different times.
Talese, and that looks like a catcher running after a pop-up at first base.
Well, not the most direct route. Certainly commend the effort from Talese, doing everything he can to find the railing, but never easy. You see right there, that little misdirect cost him a couple steps. He was just off the wrong line. Pop-ups to first base. You try to close that space as best you can. He kind of took a straight line to the wall and then had to redirect. Cost him a couple steps and a catch.
One, two. They'll get another shot. This one without as much treachery over there on the warning track and the fence. So Talese makes the play. That's out number 2. Guerra taking the spot of Odrisamer Despagne in the bullpen. Remember, Despagne came in relief of Chris O'Grady, who injured an oblique and went on the disabled list, and it fits that Despagne would slide into that spot in the rotation. Wieters is up. And the switch hitter takes down low.
Back over to the left side of the plate. Over 2 from the right side with a walk, as you see. Cervenka and Guerra both struggling with their command. Guerra at the top of the strike zone. We get Rendon to get above the strike zone and get that pop up.
Carter Capps, I saw last night, has been activated. And Javi Guerra was Carter Capps before Carter Capps. When he was pitching in high school, he had a bit of a hop. And he still has it, but not as pronounced as he had. Sort of that crow hop to the plate. He doesn't separate as far as Capps does. Juan Nieves is out to talk to him. Bags are loaded. When he was in the minor leagues with the Dodgers, they kind of smoothed that out. And of course, you talked about him being the closer for the Dodgers, the guy that had to tell him that he was no longer the closer. Kenley Jansen and that high-paid, high-powered Dodger bullpen back then in 2012 was Don Mattingly, who was managing the Dodgers at the time. Kendrick takes a strike. That one fouled back and out of play. There's Howie Kendrick against the Marlins. That kind of mirrors, or a little bit higher than his production as a National. It hasn't been a long run here, but it's been a good one. He smacks another hit into left field. Sanchez will score. Zimmerman coming, and he scores. Three-hit night for Howie Kendrick. He had a 5-hit night down in Miami. And the Nationals bust this one open.
Well, the Washington Nationals stick with the theme of the night. Two-strike base hits. Two-pitch from Guerra gets ripped into left field. Finding all sorts of success to the left side of the diamond. Strong throw from Ozuna offline. It's going to allow the Nats to move up to second and third. The walks are costing the Marlins tonight. 6 walks, a hit batter. Now 8 runs for the Nationals.
Wilmer Defoe. Don Mattingly's got the 4 fingers up. Actually, technically it should be 3, but the intentional walk is complete. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Now, the last time he was in this spot, Gio Gonzalez muscled up and drilled one to deep left. Marcell Ozuna made a fine running catch, snow coned it, ended up leaping up against the wall. That ended the 5th, and Gonzalez finds himself here again in the 6th. Same spot, and a foul ball out of play.
The Nats' last 2 innings, 17 men have stepped to the plate. Combination of walks, hit batter, base hits, all led to an 8-1 score.
0-1. Little dribbler wide of third. dozen hits, 8 runs now. And the Nationals have busted out.
Guerra having a hard time getting that ball down in the zone, far enough down to get a ground ball or a swing and a miss.
It was an 0-2 pitch that Gio hit to the warning track and left. And Guerra gets him, strikes him out. Long inning for the Fish. And a big one for the Nationals. It's 8-1. GMC Wednesday Showdown in Washington, D.C. with the Nationals and the Marlins. And it's all Nationals right now, 7th inning. And an 8-1 score. I always felt that when they built this ballpark and Ryan Zimmerman came over here from RFK that they should put some Washington, D.C. type stuff in here, right? I mean, I thought the foul poles should have been like that big monument.
I like it.
Put that Washington monument down the left field line, make it a mini one. That's your foul pole. Put maybe the Lincoln Memorial out there where the brew house is.
You got a creative mind, Rich. I'm not sure there's enough people around here with your thoughts and your vision.
Put like a mini Capitol rotunda that pops up like the Apple in New York.
I like it. That would have been pretty sweet.
Look, it's a fine ballpark, but I'm looking for a little bit of DC architecture.
Sure. Well, we talk about that, you know, even in Atlanta. It's one of the things that we think or anticipate will happen over time is that the ballpark itself will start to have that Braves stamp on it. But you're right. I mean, you see it. If I'm not looking out over the left field wall right now, I'm kind of with you. There's not that overwhelming sense of presence that I'm in Nats territory
or in Washington, D.C. There's your look. Foul pole. Yeah, see?
Way better.
That should be
Love it.
The foul pole. Very good work in the truck there. There's a strike.
Yeah, critically acclaimed.
Yes, they've been highly decorated. The Jefferson Memorial is beautiful. You could incorporate that.
Sure.
Ichiro smacks one to center, and it gets down for a hit. His second of the ball game. He has swung the bat well tonight.
Sure. Great career numbers against Gio coming into tonight. A couple of nice base hits as well.
So a 2-for-3 night for Ichiro.
Very good to see. Fastball elevated, thigh high. His first base hit to left center. This one just a little left of center. Goodwin streaking across the outfield. Good start here to the 7th. See if the Marlins can't generate some offense against Gio.
Remember, Talise is in the game, and he came in the double switch. So he's on deck. Rojas is 1 for 2. Florida Lottery in-game jackpots. At home, he's quite comfortable here, obviously. Look at Julius Chassin in San Diego. Oh, 2. Struck him out. And Gonzalez just keeps getting outs after giving up that lone run in the 4th inning. He got a little help there from the young umpire. There's Talise. Marlins will see the Colorado Rockies on Friday night. Ichiro will be happy to see them. Ichiro's got 2 hits tonight. Of course, number 3,000 came at Coors Field on that Sunday afternoon last year. My manager of the year is Bud Black of the Colorado Rockies. I don't know about you.
I have to think about that a little bit. Certainly not taking anything away about, from what Bud Black has accomplished in Mile High City. Never easy to pitch. Doing it with a young rotation. They've certainly accomplished an awful lot. A lot of good things going on out west. Dodgers, Rockies, Diamondbacks are playing great baseball.
Certainly Torey Lovullo.
Torey Lovullo, yeah.
Deserves consideration.
You can almost look at the Diamondbacks and make, I'm thinking of it in terms of Bud Black's done an outstanding job at altitude, never easy to do with the pitching, right? So you think, okay, there's great value in that. At the same time, you think Lovullo, what the Diamondbacks looked like last year and what they look like this year has been an incredible story. The Zach Greinke story last year, the Shelby Miller, remember that turned into a huge mess.
2-2. Talise pops it shallow center. Sanchez is out there and he makes the catch. There's 2 outs. Fox Sports proud to team up with Girls on the Run in their dedication to empowering young girls, instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved by visiting foxsportssports.com. High above Nationals Park. No swing. If Gordon can get on, Giancarlo Stanton will have an at-bat here in the 7th.
Rich, did you hear of the unfortunate misstep of Yohan Camargo of the Atlanta Braves yesterday?
Yes. Hyperextended his knee running out to start the game.
Yeah. The tradition was as he was running out, he would pick up some dirt on his way out to shortstop and slipped a little bit, went down, and young man's now on the disabled list. We just had a glimpse of him.
In an NFL training camp, that would go down as a non-contact injury. And let's hope that he's back soon. He's
pretty
played really well.
Yeah, sure.
Marlins have seen him of late. He certainly has outplayed Dansby Swanson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's held by Wieters, and Gordon strikes out. Gordon felt it hit the dirt. The home plate umpire says it did not. Don Mattingly wants the home plate umpire to ask. Our first look, it did. It clearly hit the dirt. Now Don Mattingly is coming on the field, and Gordon upset. Mattingly, I don't know if he's going to come out and talk to the umpire here or not. It looks like he will. And we'll take a timeout and see what the result is when we return. Now, I know it's an 8-1 ball game, but you don't give away at bats. Watch the home plate umpire. This is Ryan Addington. He looks to see if he caught it. Foul tip. Caught it, and he's out. Watch from this angle. This is not a reviewable play, but it bounces so far out in front of Wieters. You would think that C.D. Buckner at first or Manny Gonzalez at third would have had a look at that. As it is, not reviewable. There was no help offered by Gonzalez at third, especially. He's got the better look with the lefty bat in there. Tomas Talis is behind the plate. Mike Aviles is down at first base. And by the way, we did have an emailer last night sending in a note wanting us to pronounce Aviles' name differently. I asked Mike, how does he pronounce it? And he says he goes by Aviles. Every now and then he'll hear Aviles, and he won't correct anybody, but he says he'll go either way. Says teammates know him by Aviles. Major League Baseball knows him by Aviles.
I'm just going to call him Mike.
That's probably safe.
Yeah.
Fastball's in.
A very nice opportunity. Take advantage of it here down the stretch.
Brian Goodwin at the plate. Yeah, he has. Aviles has fit in nicely.
Sure has.
And to that viewer that sent it in, as an announcer, one of the things you learn whenever there's a pronunciation, whether you have a pronunciation guide or not, always go ask the athlete. And sometimes they'll not only have a little different story for you, but also have a little different pronunciation than the pronunciation guide. That one in the air. And our favorite one of those was Matt Diaz. Whenever the Marlins played the Atlanta Braves, when Diaz was a Brave, we just got lit up on social media saying, hey, look, it's Diaz, not Diaz. And so we went down and talked to Matt. I said, Matt, is it Diaz or Diaz? He said, it's Diaz. That's how my family has always pronounced it. And it never stopped. I mean, we went 2-3 years for this. He ended up with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we got to talking to him and said, look, we get lit up every night when you play. And so we actually recorded a 15-second message from Matt Diaz. Right. It's a PSA, really. Sure. And he said, look, I apologize. Please stop lighting up Rich and Tommy. And this is you. And he said, I know my family pronounces it differently, but they've always pronounced it this way. I apologize to everybody. It is Diaz. They have my permission to use Diaz.
Well, did all the haters step off?
I think so. I think hearing
it worked out well. The PSA served its purpose.
Right. Well, we played it almost before every at bat. So that one is in the air and into the seats.
Please tell me it made you smile every time you played it.
Oh, it made it a smile because he was smiling. He had and he's gone into broadcasting too. So that I think was his first ever baseball broadcast, even though it was 15 seconds, and it was a PSA, so he was not paid for it. Adrian Sanchez is up. Javi Guerra, fastball. Sanchez jumps on it, drills it in the gap. Ichiro picks it up. Sanchez not stopping, and he's in there with a double. Boy, has he had a nice series. 2 more hits in this ball game. He's got 5 in the last 2 nights.
Well, and in part why I would not have defended the sac bunt back in the 3rd is that Sanchez has been all over everybody's everything this series. And we're not talking about rolling balls through the left side. I mean, he has been hitting lasers all across the outfield here at Nationals Park. Another one into center field. Ichiro does a nice job cutting it off. Sanchez hustling all the way around. Productive night for Bryce Harper. Sacrifice fly, bunt base hit, a couple of hits.
Harper last night drove in 3 runs. Swing and a miss. Actually, Harper last night 2 runs. He knocked in a run on Monday night.
Ground ball RBI. Sacrifice fly in last night's ball game. Again, has been productive along those lines all series long. Doing what the situation asks for.
That one caught in shallow left by Miguel Rojas. Harper retired. And Javi Guerra's got a couple outs. Here comes Zimmerman. Zimmerman was walked in the 6th. He has smacked 3 hits, and each one has driven in a run. A homer, a double, and a single. So
that's how you like to break out of a slump.
To get a triple in this ballpark, you hit one in left field and you catch that corner there, or you send one into the corner and center and it rattles around a bit.
A couple, 2-3 odd angles in the outfield at Nationals Park. Might look for some ricochet. Outfielder chases it into those corners. Ball bounces back. You've got one in center field as well.
Ball and a strike and a couple of outs. If he gets back to where he was in the first half, this Nationals team is going to get a nice boost headed towards October. Because many thought he was the MVP of that first half, or at least deserved to top 2 or top 3 billing.
Kind of begin to let your mind wander. I know Nats fans have watched tons of offense. You can almost make the case that if the bullpen had been better, they'd be even farther ahead than they are in this division. I think that's where their confidence lies. Their offense has been a juggernaut all season long, even with the injuries.
Last cycle for the Nationals was Trey Turner. It was the 3rd National cycle ever. That was on April 26, 2017. Can you name the other 2 Nationals?
I'll go with Jason Worth and Soriano.
Oh, Soriano. In his 1 year here, it was a great year, though, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
42 home runs.
I'm gonna go early Nationals, but I'll go Christian Guzman.
Wow, that's a good call. He had a couple good years here too, as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep. And then I'll go Ian Desmond for 500. Desmond and Guzman. That's where I'm going. Let me see if I can find it in this article. Now that's the Brad Wilkerson, 2005.
How about it?
And Christian Guzman, 2008.
Brad Wilkerson.
And that includes
left-hander.
that includes the Expos era.
Obviously, yeah. That's. How about that? Guess I needed to go a little farther back.
Yes, RFK is a distant memory for Nationals fans, as well as opponents from the National League that found when they started playing baseball back there in 2005, after the long absence of the Senators, that some of the visiting teams from the 60s gear was still in the locker room. 3-2. That one fouled back. It was pretty dusty. It was pretty dirty.
8 pitches this at bat. Zimmerman and Guerra going at it. Guerra's moved the ball up and down the strike zone, and Zimmerman's been able to foul off a few tough pitches along the way.
Now the Marlins obviously went to RFK a lot. I know you went there as an opponent, and you found not only the Nationals were there, the soccer team,
right.
Freddie Adu and DC United were there, and a few, some small, some large vermin were there. Zimmerman.
Stadium was an interesting. It was in very interesting shape at that time. That's kind of the highlight I have was meeting Adu.
Was meeting Freddie Adu, right?
Right. Well,
forget about Frank Robinson. Bring on Freddie Adu.
Well, for many of us, soccer hadn't quite grown to the popularity that it is today. Remember, this is about a decade ago, but he was kind of mulling around. The young man was already a huge star as a teenager.
Three-2. Zimmerman to right field, hits it well. Stan going back, not going to get it, and it's gone. What a night for Zimmerman. Four hits, 2 homers, 5 RBIs.
Talking about breaking out of a slump. The hitting clinic that Zimmerman has put on tonight has been pretty impressive to watch. Home run to left field, double to right center. Base hit to center, now a home run to right. This battle with Guerra ends. We've seen Zimmerman do so many times. Great extension, willing not only go to right field, but really use that right field line, almost from the first baseman to the line, and drive a ball that way. Did it last night, does it again here, except with higher elevation.
Crowd wants a curtain call. He's already had one curtain call. Look at Gio is saying, get out there. It usually takes the teammates prompting. Zimmerman reluctantly with a wave. He was the first player drafted in Nationals history. He got to the big leagues that draft year of '05 from the University of Virginia. He's been the face of the franchise ever since. Although in the last few years, Bryce Harper has probably moved to the front of that Mount Rushmore, so to speak. Brian Ellington in Miami's bullpen. Breaking ball, strike. It's 0-2.
14 hits, 7 walks for the Nationals tonight, including a hit batter as well. Lots of offense, lots of base runners, lots of runs. It's down 10-1 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Out to short. And Rojas handles it. Nationals pile on. 2 more. It's 10-1. Him second homer, just like his first. Curtain call. He's had a couple of them tonight. 2 homers, 4 hits, 5 runs driven, and he still is a triple shy of the cycle. Andrew Stevenson arrives in left. Nationals make a pitching change as well. We welcome back Joe Blanton to the series. He pitched yesterday.
7.34 ERA. 9 home runs allowed in 30 2/3 innings. He'll bring it all. Lots of secondary pitches, not very many fastballs. Occasionally he'll throw the fastball, but typically pitches backwards. Curveball, changeup, slider, fastball.
Starts with a breaking ball and gets a strike. Gio Gonzalez 7, 7, a run, 6 strikeouts, no walks. 7 innings, 7 hits, a run. Stanton going after a fastball. It's 0-2.
Gio Gonzalez game plan a little differently for tonight. Joe Blanton, there's a fastball. Stanton pulled off just a little bit. We haven't seen him do that too many times, almost as if he was looking for something else.
Another fastball. Stanton protecting the corner. We gave you that ERA for Gio Gonzalez against the Marlins, especially lately. It's going to go down with 7 innings and just 1 run here. 15 innings, 1 run his last 2 starts, both at Miami's expense. Stanton strikes out. Gonzalez also provided this moment. The bonefish catch of the game. This could have been big trouble. Instead, it was Marcell Ozuna with a little snow cone. The bonefish catch of the game. Great fish, great cocktails, great times. Head to Bonefish Grill. Down the line, Zimmerman. What can't he do tonight?
It certainly has that feel, Rich, that is the night of Zimmerman.
And even he's got that look.
Long run from his start position at first base. That really is the key to this play. Getting yourself there so you have a shot. Sticking your glove up. You don't want to hustle late, you want to hustle early, and Zimmerman did that right out of the gate. Took off, got himself down the line, and able to make the over-the-shoulder catch.
We may have pulled the trigger early on the bonefish catch, because that certainly was worthy of,
most definitely worthy,
not only attention but sponsorship.
Although Marcell Ozuna, was a very nice catch. He was playing very shallow on Gio Gonzalez. He had a long way to go for that catch.
All right, I'm satisfied.
Sure, yeah. It was a. I wish it had a little bit more meaning than it did. Things were a little out of hand at the time.
0-2 to Mike Aviles, his first at bat. And he fouls it back and out of play.
Joe Blanton right at it, throwing nothing but strikes this inning.
He's a little more direct than he was in his appearance last night. A couple runs, got just an out. No swing. Count 1-2. And he chases, and Joe Blanton goes 1-2-3 in the 8th. 10-1 Nationals. Tomorrow night, this 4-gamer ends in D.C. before the Fish return home. And Dan Straley gets the baseball. Tanner Roark. Enter Roark. Hey, Mark Reynolds showed up on the promo. We'll see him Friday night with the Rockies. 6:30 Marlins live tomorrow night. There you go. There are the numbers. Have we checked in on Captain Obvious lately in left field?
He's down the left field line, isn't he?
Matt Wieters is up. Brian Ellington in the game. Here's the captain. Winning is fun. He's been holding up obvious signs.
I'm just trying to figure out why he's hanging out with a Cardinal and a Cub fan.
Not sure. Ellington.
It is not obvious.
Brian Ellington's season so far. You can see the walks to strikeout ratio, and that is reflected as well in the ERA. Obviously, the Marlins would love to see from Ellington is more command, more control. Wieters cracks one to left. Ozuna squares up, makes the catch. By the way, we've been talking about the Players Weekend, where the players get to wear their nicknames and cool-looking jerseys and such. That is when the Padres come to town. That's the 25th, 26th, and 27th. That's the Marlins look. And if you notice that upper left, it's a fitted blue Marlins cap that the team's going to wear. Players got to pick the colors, pick the design, pick the nicknames. They get to wear the type of cleats. They want it to look like a youth league. The first teams to wear those uniforms will actually be at the Little League World Series. Remember, Major League Baseball is playing a game in Williamsport during the Little League World Series. I believe it's the Pirates and the Cardinals. A few other issues, or I guess features is a better way to put it, of those jerseys. Players will be able to put patches on them that have the name of someone who inspired them or helped them. And as well, if they've got a charity, they can put a patch with the charity's name on it as well.
And they'll be able to fill that in.
During batting practice, they can wear the charity's T-shirts if they want. This was all a part of the new bargaining agreement. Players Association liked the idea. Players liked it. For instance, Christian Yelich. It sounds like his patches will have mom.
Sure.
Because his mom is so important and inspirational in his life.
Nice changeup from Ellington right there.
And that's the stuff that the Marlins are hopeful that Brian's able to develop.
Well, he's shown glimpses of what he can do. He's got to do it a little bit more consistently here. That's a great changeup. Everybody knows he's got a live arm. Look at the running action. People are geared up for 99, and you can throw a changeup with that type of movement. You're going to get a swing and miss. You're going to get bad contact, and that's what he needs to do more of. If he does, believe me, he will fly up that chain of responsibility quick.
That sounds like a great name for a garage band.
Chain of responsibility?
No.
Oh.
Bad contact.
Oh, bad contact. That too.
Especially if it was started by an ex-pitcher. Now, the only ex-pitcher I can think of that started a band was Jack McDowell.
He had the look to go with it.
Barry Zito. I don't know if he started a band. This is what it's come to, really. It's the bottom of the 8th.
It is.
It's 10-1, and here we are discussing ex-pitchers that have turned to music.
That's right. Oh, good change-ups and high velocity.
'91. You notice it too, Ellington, when he got that ball back from the pitcher, the first thing he did was put the ball in his changeup grip.
That's exactly right. In nature, it's easier to do. Preset the pitch that a lot of times is the most difficult to set, and then you go from there. You watch guys who throw splitties do very much the same thing. You know how to spin to a four-seam fastball. A lot of times you'll see a guy comes into a ball game, he throws an awful lot of splitties. First thing he does is throw that splitty between his fingers, get it set in his glove, get down in his position to see what the signs will be, and go from there. For Ellington, it's grabbing that changeup a lot of times.
Our buddy Ken Rosenthal reporting that Jay Bruce has been traded to the Cleveland Indians. Was it Michael Brantley that was injured?
Yeah, I believe he hurt his ankle yesterday or the day before.
So the Indians go right out and get an outfielder with Bruce.
I'll tell you
He's
what,
hit 29 home runs this year.
.841 OPS on the season. Starting rotation is starting to round into shape for the Cleveland Indians, and Corey Kluber, man, he has been lights out of late.
Now they count full now, 3-2. Yankees are leading the Blue Jays by a score of 6-5. Aaron Judge in that game is 0 for 3. It's been a tough second half for the young slugger. Gary Sanchez has homered, his 18th. Todd Frazier's hit his 19th. Didi Gregorius 18. 3-2. Pop up sends Dietrich back. Foul territory, makes the catch. And a nice inning by Brian Ellington. 10-1 Nationals. is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. This has been a lopsided affair. Nationals jerseys, national cap and a Marlin cap, and a Matt Grace who comes out of Washington's bullpen.
Heavy two-seam fastball. Lots of ground ball outs. No strikeouts. 31 1/3 innings.
MLB.TV. Every night, every device, every out-of-market regular season game. Free subscription to At-Bat Premium. #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. MLB.TV for details. Also nice to have for the postseason. Breaking ball strike. This is Derek Dietrich. Tyler Moore, Ichiro coming up as well.
Dietrich comes into tonight's ball game with a 7-game hitting streak, 0 for 3. See if he can't extend it here against Grace.
Marlins get a right-hander tomorrow night, Tanner Roark. Dan Straley goes for the fish. And it's still an opportunity for a series split. 6:30. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson. Marlins live. Count is 3-1. Dodgers and Arizona underway in the desert. Cody Bellinger is 33rd of the season. And Dietrich an 0 for 4 tonight, and the hitting streak is going to come to an end. Here comes Tyler Moore. Or excuse me, A.J. Ellis, ladies and gentlemen. So Ellis is going to hop in and get an AB. Ichiro will get one more at bat. Ichiro's got 2 hits. Miami's got 7 total. That Bellinger home run coming off of Zach Greinke. It's a Greinke-Wood matchup with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks.
No signs of slowing down for Bellinger in the second half. You mentioned the struggles for Judge. Slow start to the second half. Bellinger is right in stride. Continues to hit for power. That one's going to get AJ as he heads to first. Slider off the top of the foot. Seen a few of those in this series.
And here comes Ichiro. Phillies are beating the Braves in Atlanta 3-2, bottom 8. That Milwaukee-Minnesota game is now 2-0 Minnesota. Milwaukee with a chance to draw back within a half game of the Cubs if they win that game, but the Twins have been playing well. They're a game under. Have a 2-0 lead. Twins manager Paul Molitor back in Milwaukee. And I believe it's the anniversary of that long hit streak that he had. Ball and a strike. 43-year-old Ichiro. Ichiro wasn't sure about that call. And what fouled off the mask of the home plate umpire, Ryan Addington. On that weekend, that Players Weekend, the 25th to the 27th, where you get to wear all the jerseys and such. You also, as a player, get to wear whatever color or type of cleats you want. So for a guy like Ichiro, it'll be interesting to see.
Just total freedom. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, what does
one weekend here?
He's already got some pretty wild spikes. But you never know. I mean, I'm sure his shoe company over in Japan might be able to hook him up. Little roller to first. Ichiro may beat this. He will. Grace got a late start. It's a 3-hit night for Ichiro. This is vintage Ichiro.
Grace a little late getting over, as you see. Ichiro hustling all the way. This is vintage Ichiro. Sprinting right out of the box. No shot for Grace.
So he's at 3,064. I'll bet of the 3,064, there's probably 20 to 30 of those. Hold it to the right side and beat the pitcher to the bag.
On his prime, one false step, you were done. One half second of hesitation, you were toast. I mean, even on a drag bunt, a lot of times he'd beat you. But if you even thought about it, no shot. And even now, Grace, he gave him a couple two-step head start out of the box and beat it easily.
That's a little dribbler to third. Rendon races and just gets Rojas at first. Miami is down to the last out here in the ninth. And it's Talise who will hit right-handed. Too much of Gio Gonzalez tonight. 7 innings, a run on 7 hits. Joe Blanton and now Matt Grace in relief. Ball and a strike, 25,951.
So far, happy Nats fans. Big offensive performance from Zimmerman.
Defoe on to first in time, and the Nationals have taken 2 of the first 3 of this series. We will wrap it up from Nationals Park. Big night for Zimmerman. It's 10-1.